Hi, welcome back to my show. For those that are new, my name is Anne. I am a success coach and a career and a leadership coach. On this YouTube channel, I bring in special guests from different walks of life, talking about their career, their business, their journey. So today, I have a pleasure to invite Ying Yi. She is a physicist and also a fashion designer. In terms of, she's actually a professor at Lone Star College, and she's a founder of My Knitever since 2022. I will not explain everything about her role because I want her to share a little bit more. So I'm super excited to have her here because she really combines science and art all in one. So Ying, we would like to share a little bit about your background with the community.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Ying Yi. I'm a first generation immigrant, but I have considered Houston as my home as well because this is the place I spend most of my time in USA. I came here in 2007 when I was 25 years old to pursue my doctor's degree in physics. After 4 years and a half, I got my degree, and that's when I faced my first career decision. There were three major choices. I could be a medical physicist, and I could be a researcher in oil and gas industry, and I also could enter education field. And then I chose education because of my passion for education. And also, I love the flexibility as an educator. Um, so the choice might be the least paid decision. However, it not only nurtured all the skills I need and also laid the ground for me to become an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's wonderful. Can you talk a little bit about, in terms of, I know you just mentioned a little bit about your journey as a physicist and then touch on your entrepreneur, but before we even go there, what got you started to pursue being a physicist? Like, I think that's a very unique role, and picking education more in particular. And
Mhm.
what does a physicist do?
Yeah. So since I was little, I imagined myself to become a scientist because two things. I was always curious about how everything works, the universe or even the brain. And then I was very good at it. So physics was actually the easiest choice for me because the equations, numbers, logic, they just click for me.
Well, I have to say it's the opposite for me. Physics was one of the hardest course I've ever taken in high school and college, and I'm like, I don't know when I'll use this, but I know I need to take it. So please let me have at least a B or a C. That was my mindset.
I
So
guess
kudos to
I
you.
said it's just because you didn't have a good physics teacher. It's not your fault.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. Oh, good to know. Good to know. So what are some major decision point if for those out there who want to pursue a career in physicist, what do they need to do in preparation?
Absolutely. So first, you have got the passion because it's not an easy path. You're gonna need to take numerous classes. How do I know that? It's because I teach physics, right? I give my student tons of homework assignments, tons of tests, plus final exam. And my class is considered as one of the most challenging class in the system.
Hmm.
And in the same time, how do I know it's the most challenges? Because in the same time, I'm a learner, huge learner. I take psychology classes as a faculty because it's free for us. We can take as many classes as we want. So I took 9 classes in psychology, undergraduate classes. And compared to my own classes, that's how I know it's not easy in terms of assignments.
Hmm.
Um, so you need to be prepared. It can be very interesting because you get to study all those big questions, and but they will need to be hard work. And then another thing is since math is the language of physics, So you'd better get your math skills ready before you enter the field of physics.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely know math for sure was something I think I'm decent at, but when it comes to physics, it's on a whole level. So, as a professor now, you've been a professor since 2015 at Lone Star College at University Park.
Mhm.
What has been most rewarding things for you as professors?
So I am always a people person. Generally, I find everyone's very interesting, and there's always something I can learn from people. So the relationship I build with my students is tremendous. Um, Not only that I'm lecturing them, but they also taught me a lot to become a better version of myself.
Mm.
Um, I have to share a few stories about my
Please.
students.
I love
Yes.
stories. Stories are the best for people relate to stories a lot more. Absolutely. Please do.
Yes, I had this tradition in my class. Every single class we finish in the final exam day, we would take a group picture, and I would send the picture to my students. And
Mm.
then this semester, when I was about to give final exam, taking the picture, I had a couple of students from previous semester come back to Longshore College and visit me, and they showed me the picture they had when like a year ago and told me stories about how they still like half of the class still stayed in touch with each other because I nurtured this very warm loving environment for them. So that's
Mm.
very touching for
Wow.
me.
Yeah. I can only relate to that because I also take students and um, new pharmacists in my job. And I think that's one of the best things. Like it takes a lot of time to teach someone, but at the end, you just see like their growth and even continue to keep in touch with them. I think that has been one of the most rewarding thing as what we call the preceptor in pharmacy world, but as a trainer. So I can see and relate to what you're saying.
Yeah,
Um,
when you care, when you show that you care, they care what you teach. So that's one thing I really emphasize is the relationships. Relationships among themselves, the relationship between me and the students. I always stay positive to nurture that. I do many things to nurture that. Since day one, I would group students, like every 4 students in one group. And then after every 5 weeks, I shuffle and they get to meet new people and make new friends. And then I always ask them what's their plan for future. So some of them, because my class is calculus-based physics, many of them are engineering major. So I would ask them what's their plan, what's the next goal, and they would tell me they're going to U of H, they're going to Texas A&M, they're going to UT Austin. Then I said those people who are going to the same place together. I tell each of them, so and so is going to the same place as you are. You'd better stay in contact with them. And they did. They did, and they all become stronger when they stay together.
Wow. I have to agree because what I went to UT Austin and biochemistry, I still remember my biochemistry teacher, professor, and he played the saxophone in the class. He makes me like biochemistry. I was not a big biochemistry fan at all when I start. And he was actually the one that motivated me to start running because before I didn't run at all, or even walk
Wow.
far, to be honest. But he was the one that's like, if you guys 20% of the class sign up for this race, 5K race, you don't have to have nomenclature on their test. And selfishly, I was like, I don't want to do nomenclature or studies. So I was like, hey, people, let's sign up. Like that was my interior motivation. And I signed up for the race. I actually fell in love with running and love with outdoor in general. So I can definitely relate to professors that motivate students to get out of their comfort zone because he definitely did that for me. And his name was Brent Iverson at UT. I don't know who's still teaching, but definitely relate to what you're sharing because I think fostering that relationship for students are so important. Okay, so I'm going to switch gear a little bit. What have been some of your challenges or biggest challenges you face as a woman in your field as a physicist? And how do you overcome them? And you did mention there's primarily 3 areas within physics that you chose, and you chose academia. So How did you choose academia specifically, and what are some challenges that you encounter as a woman, a female professor, and especially in physics?
I have to say, ever since I came to USA, the biggest challenges I faced was not only just like as a woman, but more like an immigrant.
Mm.
Biggest challenges were like language barrier and cultural shock, those kind of things. I still remember the second week I came to USA, I had to do laundry, right? So I went to HEB and bought a small bottle of detergent and then ruined all my summer clothes.
Oh
Guess what?
no,
Guess what I actually bought?
bleach!
Yeah.
Oh, oh no,
Because
that
I have
can
no
happen.
idea. I don't know the word bleach, and I
Oh,
have never used it in my life. And
mm,
it's in the same aisle as all detergents, so I
uh,
have no idea. And that's when I learned that bleach doesn't make everything white. It makes everything like an ugly rainbow type. Yeah. So
yes.
that's lesson hard learned.
Uh,
And then also the first time I decided to cook for myself and I cut my finger like really deep.
ooh.
And then I had to shake it off, right? And then my entire kitchen was covered with blood. I
Oh my
never
gosh.
deposited back for sure because of that. And I didn't see doctor at all. I almost passed out, but I didn't see doctor because I
What?
had no idea how the insurance worked. And I didn't have a car neither.
Oh my goodness. All the
Those were like,
challenges.
yeah, really challenging for me. Not the physics part. Physics, I could do it. Quantum mechanics, quantum field theory, relativity, I was okay with those classes.
Mm,
But the life struggle was serious and real. So I had to share my tears like several times.
mm,
However, they helped me tremendously to grow my compassion and confidence. Yeah, and it helped me to face challenges later on as a professor. Because as a professor, most of the time we work with people. It's always people, different people, right? And I'm
mm,
a tiny person. And when you work with people, conflict is inevitable. Right?
mhm,
So sometimes I have conflict with students, sometimes with coworker. That can be very challenging and stressful moments. And what I learned from my own experience is that I almost never take things personal. Yeah, I had a student lashed out during the class because I was distributing a test supposed to be like 7:30, but I started 7:25, and the
mm.
student lashed out, even gave me a finger. You know which finger, right?
Oh,
And she was really mad because she said she was planning to use the 5 minutes to study.
if you wait until 5 minutes to study, I'm
Five
sorry.
minutes. That's how important for her. And she lashed out.
Mm,
And then what I did is instead of fight back or argue with her or shame the student. No, I didn't do none of them because I understand life is difficult. So what I always do is no matter how small or big the other person is,
mhm.
I will gently put my hand on the shoulder of the other person and look the other person into their eyes and very softly say, "Are you stressed?" And that would always work. I'm telling you. Because often the time it has nothing to do with us. It's
Mm,
just because the other person's life is too hard. So by acknowledging that, you break the challenge. And then
mm.
I took the student out and start to do a little bit yoga, breathing, and she calmed down. And in the end, she got an A in my class.
Wow.
He was just stressed out about tests, everything. And you know how student life could be, right?
Mhm.
Those were once were students, and some of the audience might be still students. It can be
Right.
tough, especially the time before tests, the anxiety, the
Yeah.
stress.
Just
It's it's unbearable sometimes.
Yeah, or just saying like it also just in general in life, right? People who's not a student but they have other stressors in life. And I want to relate going back to the comment you were saying that your struggle, the physics part is actually the easy part. Is just the like the life and life as an immigrant. And
Yeah.
I can definitely relate because when I first came to the US, it's been over 20 years, but I came when I was 9 and I did not speak any English. Not even
Wow.
probably 2 words like hi, hello, maybe 3 and bye. Like that was the extent of my English when I first came. So like really being an immigrant and in a new country, new place, and not knowing the language was really hard. And I I think I still remember this vividly. Like in 4th grade, I had to copy my friend's homework because I didn't know what it was asking. I literally just like wrote down what they wrote down. So I understand. Like I think as an immigrant, we have there's an additional layer of challenges that we have to overcome, and really like being able to break out of my shell and asking for help. And like I don't understand what the teacher's saying. I don't, like just a lot of like I don't know. I need help. So that was really powerful for me, and it helps me carries on to where I am now, where there are days I need help and I say I need help, right? But it took me a while because I was very stubborn. I pretended I knew what I was doing. And I remember vividly one day I came home to my mom. I was like 10 or something. And I
Oh,
just talked to her like it's gibberish. It's straight up gibberish. And makes no sense. It's not even English or Vietnamese. It's straight gibberish. And she just looked at me because she doesn't know English either. And she looked at me like, that's not English, right? I'm like, no, but I'm gonna talk like this as if I'm speaking English. So one day I'm gonna speak like this. And it's like I think with enemy, it's like a believing in me to say one day I'm gonna be able to speak English. Like, look at me now. So,
yeah,
right. So I think just
good.
overcoming obstacles one thing at a time. So I really appreciate your sharing those challenges. And then as a professor, you're a leader within your own right because you're leading the student, you're leading your coworkers. So what are your important, like most important qualities as a female leader? And how did you cultivate these qualities? I know you mentioned like relationship building seems like to be one of those, but I want to be more specific and ask you those.
Hmm. Absolutely. I have established 3L theory, my
Mm.
own philosophy. I love philosophies. So the first
This
L is,
philosophy, look at you.
yeah. I'm actually a doctor in philosophy. That's what my degree says. Any
Mm,
science major, you get a doctor in
yeah,
philosophy, right? So I
true.
love philosophy. So the first L is listen. Yeah, listen attentively. Because I genuinely think that you can always learn something from another person. Or in order to avoid miscommunication, nothing is the first step.
Mm,
I remember there's a Buddhist. He once said, um, the lack of capability to understand each other is the main suffering of humankind. So it's because miscommunication is inevitable. But to minimize that is if you are able to listen, right?
mm,
I had students who stressed out and complain to the dean and create an appeal. So that's like as a professor, you don't get that much, maybe once per decade or something. But
mm,
my first reaction is panic. What should I do? Should I defend myself and fight back? Or what should I do? But then after a few moments, and I come down, I said, I just need to listen to the student. And
mm,
obviously, the student struggled. And as a professor, as all those staff, how can we help him? Like, like creating an appeal is really just a cry for help, and
mm,
this needs help. So we need to listen. Maybe we didn't listen enough,
mm,
and now it's time for us to listen carefully. What does he want? Which area does he struggle? Is it because of the structure of class, modernity of class, or his group members, or the material, or he missed a class and cannot catch up? What is the reason for him to cry for help? So
mm,
to listen to it, and that when you solve the problem. Then the second L is learn, always learn. As a professor, I think when we sign up the contract, like 10% our responsibility is professional development. We
Mm.
are actually required to learn. I was like, yay! I love learning, so perfect. So 10% of the time, we take classes, we read book, and we do what we enjoy to learn. So
Mm.
always learn. From for me, I learn from books. Udemy is my favorite platform to learn all kinds of classes, and I also learn from other people, right? And when I work with other people, I feel like I learn a lot. As an entrepreneur, I get to work with web designer, marketing agents, photographer, models, software engineer, all kinds of people. So I always like feel so happy to learn from them. And also when you learn from them, you show interest to them. It says that you respect them, and they will respect you back, and they will be willing to listen what you have to give as well. So the third L is need in vision. You have
Mm.
to always reflect. Why do you take this path? Where do you want to go? Is it meaningful to do this? Once you have it figured out, you communicate it to either your students or your coworker, everyone, right? And then believe a lot. When you have a clear vision, and when you are doing really doing something that's valuable to the society, people are willing to help you. They even help you for free. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, and I love that lead with vision. So being able to listen, learn, and lead with vision. I love that. I'm gonna imitate and use that from going forward. I think we're all, but I love the 3L. So um, and I think, being you were saying professor is a people person. I think any business, any job, any career is a people person because that's what it comes down to, right? Regardless what you do, you going to interact with people, regardless of like how AI progress and all these robots and how things going to make our life a bit better. There's still going to be a human component to it. So once we're able to connect with those humans, we're better as
Exactly.
individuals, as a community.
Exactly. I remember this a book I read. It's called "It's My Pleasure." It's talking about the philosophy of chicken fillet. You love
Mm.
chicken fillet, and then in that book, I still remember that the founder of chicken fillet, Cather Truth, and he once said, "We're not in chicken business. We're in people business." Yeah, that quote really stayed with me. Any business you do, anything you do, is people business. You're serving people.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. So how has mentorship, well, actually, let me ask this questions. So how we met for the audience to hear, Ying and I met at a SURE program, which is an entrepreneurship program locally ran by University of Houston Bauer School of Business. And through the SURE program, they help individuals who have great ideas or ideas to come to fruition with their business. So that's how we meet. We're the same cohort. We just graduated not too long ago, but that's how we met, and we end up inviting her to talk about her career. So, in terms of not necessarily navigating career changes, but how are you able to still operate as a professor, but then finding this business? And if you can share with the team, what is your business and how did you come up with this ideas? Because it's very, at least in my eye initially, they don't relate at all. But tell me a little bit more, and tell the audience, how did you come up with this business idea as you're navigating?
Absolutely, absolutely. So first, let me tell you what is the business. Do you know Tesla?
Yes.
Mhm. Tesla, everyone knows. All the audience, everyone knows it. It's so famous. I'm not surprised because it has forever changed how cars are made and how people can shop for cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
The company I created, it's called My Knitever. I would consider it as early stage of Tesla in fashion industry. because we are changing how garments will be made and how people can shop for garments. So what we do is we help celebrate women's unique size by creating customer fit, affordable, seamless garments. Um, so yeah, I as a professor, that's 12 years teaching. I get to nurture lots of hobbies on the side because of the flexibility of my time. And then one of the hobby I nurtured is as a model. So I model sometimes for traditional Chinese garments and go to shows, different places, festivals.
Mm.
And then another thing I have nurtured is as a professor, I'm also advisor for students' eco club. I'm very environmentally conscious.
Mm.
And then in 2022, I remember I was sitting in Houston Runway to watch the show. It's phenomenal show. Everybody was like so beautiful, audience included. Everyone dressed up so pretty. And but for the 2 hours show, the only thing that I couldn't get it out of my head is I keep thinking about the ugliness behind the beauty because of the polluting and wasteful ways to create fashion, right?
Mm.
It's a serious problem right now. And then I talk to myself, there's got to be a better way to do fashion. Okay. And then that coin, I cannot get it out of my head. It just like stayed with so sticky. It stayed with me. Because I never thought I want to be a business person. All my family members, they're businessmen. But I thought I'm content and I'm happy as a professor.
Mm.
Uh, but then that coin, it just stayed with me. And then I started to do research about what the industry is doing right now. What are the best technology we have right now? What could be a better way to do fashion? And then later that year, I funded a company, My Knitever.
Wow.
So that is, yeah, the journey. You don't know. Just like
Yeah.
Forrest Gump, the the movie, right?
Yeah.
Life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. But when it happens, I cherished it. I valued the
Wow.
feeling, the emotion, and the experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I know. Of course, prior to interview, I look up your bio and your background, and actually even visited your website, and it was just interesting. It talks about sustainability, and can you, for those that don't really know much about fashion, including myself, can you say what are the problems within the fashion industry? Like, because usually for a business, like, what is the business need, right? What are the problem with designing all this, and how is mine ever different, like minimize waste, and I hear you like you utilizing
Absolutely.
technology.
I'd
Yeah.
love to. So, these days, online shopping is inevitable, right? It's huge.
Mhm.
And for apparel industry as well. And the number one reason of return rate is really high. And the return product, we sometimes they end up in landfill or
Mm.
maybe often that time. So the number one reason is unfitting. The fitting, there's an issue. If you go to different stores, they have S, M, L, right?
Mhm.
But the S from different stores are different S, different sizes. The whole size system is broken. People try to fix it, but it's just falling apart. So you
Mm.
never know. If it's a new brand, you never know what is the right size for you.
Right, and small for Asian versus for another
For
ethnic, or I mean, small could be different because women, I mean, humans are very unique. Like we're all, each of us are unique beings, different DNA, different shape and size. So your small could be someone's big or medium. So
sure.
I don't do online shopping as much because I struggle to find the right size for me. Like that's the honest truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem. Plus, like for me, my my upper body is one size, my bottom is another size, especially when I want to buy dress. It's never
Mhm.
fit. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
either the shoulder is too loose or it's too long or it's too tight. It's never right. So that's one of the biggest problem. It's unfitting issue, which causes um, waste,
Mm.
lots of waste. And then the second issue is um, for um, traditional fashion business, you have, if you design a collection, you have to buy like hundreds, even thousands of the same type and stock it up, like called inventory.
Mm.
And there's lots of dead inventory in the market.
Mm.
Some of the designs they just don't sell. Maybe because the color is outdated, we cannot predict, right? Or there's some design flaw. There's no way you can fix it anymore. You already bought all the garments, right?
Mm.
So there's so many problems. It's causing dead inventory, and dead inventory is a huge waste. So
Mm.
that's another problem. And then also the material. You as a customer these days we don't get much say about what will be made for us. It's just like, oh, let's say what we already made, and let's say if I can find something I can fit it in. Right, we don't get a say as a customer, but that's not right.
Mm.
For me, I have sensitive skin. I'm very picky about material. I can go shopping for a whole day and I see lots of silhouette I love, but when I look at the label, okay, the material is not right for me, then I cannot wear it, no matter how beautiful it is. So I
Mm.
don't get a say. Therefore, it makes some people hard to find the right thing for them. Right?
Mm.
So then, of course, the material as well. And when it comes to material, if it's mixed material, it's really, really hard to recycle. In fact, we barely recycle any uh, unwanted garments. I think
Mm.
out of the garments we donate, only 15% will go to another country and serve another person. 85% will end up in landfill.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's just hard to recycle unwanted garment when it's mixed material.
Mm.
And they're not, most of them, if it's polyester, nylon, they're not biodegradable. They're gonna be in landfill for 500 years. And some of them, they can even emit toxic chemicals. So that's a serious problem. It's not hurting us right now, this moment, but in
Long
long
term,
term,
yeah, like
it's gonna
pollution.
hurt our health.
Yeah.
The water we drink, the air we're breathing, it's gonna hurt us like slowly.
Mm.
So it's a serious problem. So to tackle those problems, what I did is we're the first company combining smartphone body scan and 3D knitting technology. Um, I have to mention a little bit about 3D knitting. Many people don't know. So traditional garments is cut and sew. So we create from yarn, we create a fabric. And then from fabric, we cut into pieces and then combine them into garments, right? When we
Mm.
cut fabric, we waste up to 15% of the edging material. We cannot, you open the time, those are called waste.
Mm.
Landfill again, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Pollution.
yeah, exactly. So 3D knitting, or what we call whole garment machine, is we turn directly from yarn to garment. Like the piece I'm wearing right now, it's a whole garment. There's no cut and sew, no seam. It's all smooth inside, so
Mm.
that we can eliminate waste as well.
Wow.
And because we have smartphone body scan, so every piece our customer choose online will be tailored to the customer's size.
Yeah, I'm actually went on the website and do my scan, and it's it tells like do a tight fit form when you do it. I was like, this is probably the first time I've ever seen something like that. So, um, out
So
of
that we're
30 years,
tackling
yeah.
the dating issue, we're using on demand to tackle data inventory issue because we have zero inventory. It's on, just like Tesla. Tesla is on demand. I drive Tesla, and I still remember the day I shopped for Tesla. So I choose all the settings on my phone and then place the order. So it's, and then you need to wait because it's on demand, right? So they make sure that they receive one order, then they make one car. We do the same thing. One customer places an order, then immediately we make a garment here in Tombo, Houston, and then ship it out to the customer. So it's on demand. And then, yeah, and then we also do all natural material right now. We have 100% Pima cotton, um, and then we have wool. So it's all natural material.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to get my dress. I did order one, so I can't wait to get it. And there's a lot of selections for it. So as you going through this journey, you know, like again, you're more academic and from that standpoint, and now switching over to semi switching over to be an entrepreneur. How has mentorship shaped your career as an entrepreneur, and what type of support that you felt that you needed to get you started on this business?
Sure. For my precious audience, if you get a chance, do get some mentors. No matter it's female or male, I don't care about the gender and the age. Um, Whenever you find someone who might be able to share their wisdom with you, just take advantage of it. Me, myself, I have lots of mentors, like different gender, different age. Mentor for me is, you know how when we learn on our own, it's mostly linear. We learn like that, right? But with the help of mentorship, the learning curve can be exponential. Like for instance, I have this labor. His name is Jeff. He's my mentor. So one day he assigned me a book to read, what he considered as the best selling, a book about selling or marketing. So the book, I actually have that book with me. That is one of my favorite books. It's called Nito Red Book of Selling. Yeah, so I spent a couple of days and read the book carefully. Actually, I read it twice. Okay, and then I had a discussion with him, like a 1 hour discussion. And then I realized that before I had a discussion with him, I maybe only understood 50% of the book, tops. And then after just 1 hour discussion with him, that percentage boosted to maybe 80%. Yeah, that's how helpful they can be. And I also have from the SURE program from University of Houston, my mentor is Daniel. He is then actually way younger than me. He's only 28 years old. He's from India. This is his second year in USA. I learned a lot from him. You know, he before he joined the business school, he had funded 4 companies before this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he shared his experience with me, and I remember one lesson really inspiring for me is he said his first company he failed is because he fell in love with his product and ignored audience and market. Right? So the product he made is a mixer for smoothie, and he found the best ingredients in Asia and had the beautiful package. Everything was he saw was perfect, but didn't sell. Yeah, and then the lesson he learned is that he really need to spend more time to understand his audience, target audience, and the market. And I had the same problem. I love my products, just like many entrepreneurs. We like fall in love with our own products, and we forgot to pause and listen to the audience, listen to the market, pay more attention to the market because we're not serving ourselves. We're serving other people, right?
Yep.
So that was a really good lesson from him. And
Mm.
yeah, he was very generous and shared so many stories of himself. So I don't need to thank my company. Like he closed his first company because of that. So for me, because of he's my mentor, so I don't need to close my company because of this mistake. I can learn from the mistake and just treat it as a setback, and then continue grow and become better.
Wow. Yeah, I think regardless of where we are, I have many mentors, and I think mentors, you can have mentors for different things, right? And it's good to have many mentors because you're as a human, you're a complex being. So you have to have someone who for your business, for your career, for your personal, just someone who has walked the path before you and say, don't take that step, move to the left. Okay, don't go straight. Okay, go to the left. So it's very helpful instead of you stepping on that rock or get into that mud that you may otherwise would if you didn't have a mentor. So I wholeheartedly agree. And I think
Yeah, just
everyone.
not even a mentor, just talk to another person. Like I
Yes.
had a gent who's working at our department. There was one day he was stressed out. He told me that he had to take pills to sleep because half of his class was failing, right?
Mm,
And then he finally had the courage to speak out to me. And then I told him that I had exactly the same experience before.
mm.
Then immediately he felt better.
Yeah. It's sometimes also have that share learning, share experience that you're not alone. We're in this together type of so powerful. So I know it's really hard. You probably, you encounter some setback as an entrepreneur, as a professor. What strategy do you use to stay empowered and motivated, especially in difficult and dark times?
Mhm. Well, as an entrepreneur, I have to say that there's setback is default. Yeah, you need to, if you want to start your business, like some of the audience, just have this expectation that setback is inevitable, right? And then I remember there was one time I just started TikTok last year, sometime last year. And I had this resolution with myself. I said, I'm going to make 3 videos every day for 30 days. And then, as you know, I got my PhD, so I have grades with me, right? It's so hard for me to give up. I just like keep going, going, going. So I did 30 days. I did. Guess how many garments I sold?
10, 0. Uh,
I saw zero comment. I was devastated. I was like, what is I doing? It was such a waste of my time. And
mm,
then there was as clear. Remember, it was evening. I was in my warehouse. I was so low,
mm,
sad. I was sitting there. I was like, what did I do wrong? It's like just that's not right. And
mm,
then and then uh, I think in the same light, an influencer who has 700,000 followers, he followed me back. Yeah, that's it. So I thought it was a total waste of time. But you know what? Any experience you had, it's not gonna be 100% a waste of your time. You're gonna get something out of it. So I
mm,
had that influencer followed me back, and then I also grow 40 followers, right? Even though I didn't sell anything, but I had a follower, more and more followers. So that's one thing is to
mm,
empower yourself is yes, when you are sad, you think nothing's working, everything's wrong, but maybe it's not. Yeah,
mm.
maybe just try to look for those tiny small achievements you have. They still mean something. Okay, so that's the first thing.
Mm.
The second thing is that always empower me is learning. Okay, I go talk to my mentor, find a book to read, and take a class from Udemy. I feel like Udemy should pay me because I mentioned it several times.
I know, right? You're promoting them. Should be.
Unlimited Udemy, so So I take a class from Udemy, and after I come out of those things, I always feel empowered because I feel like I'm a better person because I have more knowledge now. So that's a big motivation. Then I go back to the challenge um, to 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 become better, right? And then last but not least is always to have a big vision, a
Mm.
really long vision. Yeah, it's because the path is not gonna be straight line. It's gonna be zigzag, zigzag. You're gonna have setbacks, and then you're gonna bounce back, uh, unless you quit. Right? If you don't quit, you don't give up, you always bounce back. It's just a matter of time. Right? So those are my strategies to empower myself.
Wow. And I love it. I love everything, every single word that you said. I think is true. And I relate to this experience. Like my podcast, I started in 2018. And if someone has started like that long, it should have more followers, more people. And I was in a slump myself. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Right. Like, I guess nothing is, I'm not doing something right. Like, and I was like, maybe I should just quit. And honestly, the SHRE program and the recent, like this year was the year I'm like, no, I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna learn, keep going. And what I learned is that I bring on people and I've learned so much about their journey. And now I'm like, you know what? I have a different mindset shift. I'm like, I learn from that individual. I connect to that individuals. And even if my video has 10 views, that means I impacted 10 people. You know, like a classroom of, and now I have a follow of 360 plus individuals. So it's just being able to say it start one person, but more importantly, it's not the likes or the followers. It's like I know within me that I can make an impact to other individuals who are pursuing career advice and want to lead. And this is my way of giving back by sharing story like yourself. So it helps empower them to do that. So I agree. Is everything is not a linear line or exponential line, is a zigzag, but then at one point it catapult you to something that you may not even know, but you just gotta keep going. Is the key word.
Yes,
Is don't quit. All
yes.
right. So I think to route out what we call the speed dating round, I'm just going to ask you a quick question. Don't think about it, um, and just answer it as whatever comes to your mind. So, one thing you wish your younger self knew, with all your life experiences, one thing you wish your younger self knew.
Yeah, I would tell her that you're doing great. Just keep going.
Mm, yeah, I think that's clearing and just being able to have that confidence, right? Because I think when in our younger self, we're like, are we making the right thing? Are we doing the right stuff? Like that self doubt. So,
Yeah, there's hard times uh, in career, also in personal life. There will be challenges, but as long as you keep your fire alive in your heart, just keep going, keep believing in yourself, and stay brave, stay hungry, stay foolish, and it will be better and better. Yeah.
so uh, I can't say it better. You beautiful, beautiful. I'm learning so much from this, and definitely I'm gonna drop that book. If you can send that book, I'll put it in the show notes for folks to read as well. So how do you want my community to connect with you? For those that are interested in My Knitever or just connect with you in general, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Absolutely. So if you go to any social media and you type My Knitever, MYKNITEVER, and you can find our web social media channel and my personal email. You can email me to ying.yi@mynetever.com, and we would love to help
Awesome.
make your life better.
Well, thank you so much for solving a major problem in the fashion industry and also helping to empower students to like and enjoy physics. I think those are two really important elements. Um, Audience, team, teams, leaders out there, this is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much, Dr. Z, for being here. My goal is to create the biggest community of leaders to collaborate, advance your career as a leader, prioritize what matters for you, and execute on those bold decisions with clarity and confidence. So really being able to build and lead a meaningful life through mindful leadership. And that's what this channel is all about, career leadership and mindset. So I hope you have taken at least one nugget from Dr. Yi and run with it. Until next time, thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.